Okay, so what if your code should keep running until a user says stop? That's what while loops are made for. So, welcome back. So, today's episode, we're diving into while loops. And they're perfect when your code should keep running based on conditions and not counts. So, before we used to say our code should keep running till we increase I to a particular value, maybe 5 or 10, using the I plus plus or I plus equal to. Yeah, so that was using counts. The counts were known. So we're using the counts for the for loop and for the for loops. Now for the while loops, we want to know, we're taking each loop separately. And for the while loops, we want to do this if based on a condition, okay? So that is it. So just let's break it down with some chill vibes and Java power. So what is a while loop? Now, looking at the image on your right hand side and looking at what the text on your left hand side, it checks a condition. If it's true, it runs the code again. It keeps checking until that condition becomes false. So look at the image on your right hand side. It says while A is equal to true, it checks a condition. Okay, do B. If it's true, then end while. So we're ending the while loop if the condition becomes false. So we do B if it's true. Now, if you notice after doing B, we go back and check. Now the condition is equal false, we end the loop. So what do we mean? So let's see. A basic syntax, sorry. Let's use a basic syntax of your while loop. So going into our IntelliJ IDE, let's do something now. Let's say let's initialize int. So I just restarted my IntelliJ. It crashed before from running that loop without a stopping um, condition or count. So let's initialize this while I is lesser than, actually let's go for, okay, 10. So while I is lesser than 10, I want to say system.out.print. Let's go with a text this time. Java rocks. Okay, so Java rocks, then plus, let's add that statement to I. All right, so since if I is lesser than 10, or let's add equal to, lesser than or equal to 10. So this will start at 1 and print until it's 10. Then just like a for loop, but it's more flexible. What do I mean? Let us build. Okay, then you start seeing it's printing so much in my console. Okay, why again is this printing so much? It's because there is no condition to stop this. Okay, there is no condition to stop this. So how do we stop this now? Okay, so we'll learn how to stop this. But first of all, let's learn about when to use the while loops. So you don't just use while loops like while I is less than or equal to 5 or while I is less than or equal to 10. You don't just use while loops. So you use while loops when you don't know how many times to repeat. Okay, so for instance, okay, don't worry, I'll show you an example. Then you use while loop when you're waiting for users input. So like say, okay, yeah, when you don't know how many times to repeat, meaning and waiting for users input. So maybe you are supposed to run the code to accept a user's input, say, okay, how many times should I welcome you home? And while waiting for the user's input, do this. So when the user say 10, then run the code. Okay, so now game loops, and we also use while loop for game loops, menu and retries. Okay, so game loops could involve your Subway Surfers just running on a particular track over and over and over and over and over again. The running animation in the game is a loop because you can't keep something running and running and running without looping it. So the running animation of your Subway Surfer game is a loop. The shooting animation in your Call of Duty mobile game, it's a loop. and the skills and the dance in your Free Fire um or your PUBG gaming mobile, those are loops. Okay, so what about menus? Your website, those hamburger menus you click, those menu with three lines, they're called hamburger menus. When you click on them, they expand. When you click on the X, they disappear. Those are loops. What about retries in a game? You're trying to you die and you come back, you die and you come back. That is also called a loop. Okay, so um but there is a warning. Okay, so you could run into infinite loops when you forget to add a condition, like the I plus plus. Your code will run forever and ever and ever and ever. In fact, Java will cry for you and your laptop will weep. Along your laptop will weep. So imagine you're using a PC with 2 gig RAM and you decide to just be stubborn and run your code without I++. Forget about the ID you are using. Your laptop will weep for you. Okay? So please do not do it. I'm advising you, please do not do it. Do not try it, okay? Except you have a spare PC somewhere here you can use, okay? Do not try it. It might not completely damage your PC, but please do not try to find out yourself, okay? Just ignore it. So let's go with some mini examples, and I'm going to give you a sneak peek to your next coding challenge. Okay. Okay. So going into our IntelliJ IDE, let's comment this out. So that is a dangerous line of code. In fact, we should delete it. Okay. They're giving me a dictionary. All right. So let's go with this code. We're going with a check. Now, let's go with this. So a countdown from 5. Now notice there is a condition here, and there is a stopper for this. Okay, so if I should take this off, my code is going to keep running. So now, what am I writing here? Let's cancel this. Let's print it together. So we're initializing I to 5. Okay, so we say while, I just wanted to make it faster, that was why I paste. So why I, this value of I right here, why I is lesser, is greater than 0. But when I gets to 5, it stops. Okay, so now we are saying why I is lesser than 0, since we can't say I is 0 and come back again to say I is 5. So we're using the while loop to say why I is lesser than 0. Okay, when it hasn't progressed until the value of having 5, then we want to say system.out.println, and let's put countdown. So let's say this is a countdown. And okay, so the countdown is going to start from I think it's going to start from 1 to 5. Okay, countdown is supposed to start from 5 to 0. Let's see. Plus, sorry, I plus countdown plus I. All right, now if you run this code like this, please do not even try it. So let's just play safe. Okay, so now notice if we started it as I plus plus, it means we are going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not a countdown. Okay, so now we're using the I negative negative or I minus minus to decrease the value of I from 5. So we get 5, 4. Let's see. Okay, countdown in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that is what a countdown is. Now if we should change it to I plus plus, what are we going to expect? We're expecting numbers that are going down. This is actually a mistake. There's a bug somewhere. Okay, so let's not debug this for now. Let's just go with, and the bug is coming from here. So I'm increasing when these 2 digits, they are not actually falling in place. Okay, so let's go with the negative part. For me to run that, I have to switch this value. Okay, so now let's run something sensible. So this is actually a countdown. So you're going from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. So if you use the while loop well, so you see why I is greater than 0. Okay, then when immediately we hit the last digit, making it the fifth printing, it stops. So you always need a condition, a statement like this to stop it, or a condition. You need to update the condition, which is this condition inside the loop. Unlike your for loop, when we actually had the condition this inside the total condition. But in the while loop, you update the condition after running the initial condition. Okay. So let me give you a sneak peek to what you are going to do um in your coding challenge. You're going to use while loop to guess a number. So sorry, you ask a user to guess a number, and you're going to use that while loop to do something like this. So I'm not going to show you how you store this number, but I'm just going to give a sneak peek. While not equal to correct number. So from here, you should get your names of variable. Then you should do this system dot out dot print. There's a shortcut to this. I've actually forgotten ln, and you say try again. Okay. So what does this mean? It means if your guess that the user guess is not equal to the correct number you set as your variable, then you should tell the user to try again. Then the user keeps guessing and guessing and guessing till he gets the correct variable. If this was Python, we could have created a UI using tkinter or tinkerlinter. I've forgotten how how you pronounce it, but this is not Python, so this does not come with its own GUI. It doesn't come with its own GUI. Okay, and actually call it GUI, or you call it GUI. So this doesn't come with its own um um modules to give you some GUI interface to interact with. So all we're doing for now is use the console. Okay, so that is what you'll be doing. And okay, so your mini coding challenge now is to ask a user to guess a number, and not just stop there. You would use this number to match against the number you created. If it doesn't match, you can tell the user to try again. And if it matches, you can tell the user, congratulations, you got the correct number. Okay, so that's your while loop crash course. Next up, we'll play with user input plus while loop in a simple guessing game. So please drop a like if your brain doesn't loop out, then solve if you're learning Java in the chillest way possible. So also drop don't forget to drop a loop gang in the comment section